Folks, welcome to the CCL 2022 season. In the Bravo stream today, we have a hot set of matches over the three, starting off with Mavericks versus Trojans. Then we got CSUSB versus UCR Esports, and follow that one up for the night is CU Boulder and Crimson Gaming. To take you through the start, it's myself, Seymour, alongside Jesse. Going up after this is going to be McCornmeal and Spider Tiff, so it's going to be exciting all throughout the night. But right now, what we got right now is myself and Cruz. How you doing tonight, Cruz?
I'm doing fantastic. We got a beautiful set of matches tonight. We got a beautiful set of casters going on. I mean not me and you, we do fine, but you know, we got Corn and we got Spider Tiff after, like you said. So I mean, if you're here for the Bravo stream, B stream equals best stream. We're here for the absolute fantastic time of our nights.
I mean, B stream equals best stream, like you said. It's what we got. But right now, what we have for our first match of the day is the Mavericks versus the Trojans. Coming out of the Midwest A Division, a real David versus Goliath story. Where you're looking at the Mavericks, who've been on the climb this season inside of the CCL, from a team that was on nobody's radar, now a team that just might be on the cusp of making top 25.
Yeah, absolutely. This Mavericks team, very, very good this season. You can see 9-0 record, 12-0, 9-0, 6-0 when you're looking at hard point, search and destroy, and control. This team has been absolutely unreal this season. Really, really good stats. We'll get more into the nitty-gritty of that once we dive more and more into this head-to-head. And then, obviously, on the other side, we got Dakota State University. And honestly, Dakota State, they've been a team who's, in comparison to the Mavericks, they've been quite normal this season. Haven't really been playing their best Call of Duty. They've lost to a lot of the top teams, but they've been able to play them close. So they're a very solid middle of the pack team coming into this one.
And right now, you know, you're looking at the Mavericks like a team like, oh, hey, we can prove ourselves right now. If we take down the best right now, we can really show it. And I mean, that's the whole story of David versus Goliath. It's just taking down a Titan right now is on the mind of Dakota State Trojans. And it's not going to be an easy feat. But as we hop into the rosters and introduce our home team for the night, it's the Mavericks. We got T-Bam, Y-Dog, Bladesy, and Spiro.
Yeah, and this team, only one change from last season into this season. Obviously, they didn't play in CCL last year, but they did play in NACE with a lot of these similar rosters. And only new player coming in is Bladesy into the season. And what a pickup Bladesy has been. Him and T-Bam really leading the way in respawn for this team. Two very good slayers on this roster. And it seems to be the change that this team needed to be able to hit that next level, Colin.
Yeah, you know, we saw them last year for you and I casting Cold War, and this wasn't really a team in our eyes that were like, okay, this is going to be a competitor going into the 2022 season, but them jumping in here and, you know, seeing it, I'm impressed. You know, I'm excited to see this team.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, and like we were kind of saying, like, we watched them last year in NACE, top 12, they finished there, and then coming into this season, we were like, yeah, you know what? They might be a decent team this year, might not be the greatest team. We've seen some upsets from them last year, so we knew they had that upset potential, but they just seem to have gotten off to such a hot start here in Vanguard. I can't wait for Split 2 to see how they do when they go up against that top competition.
Gonna see that, but for right now, their competition of the night over on the away side across the table, it is the Dakota State Trojans. We got Chris Quesadilla, Gusher Goblin, Bruggs, Shoddy, Nasty, a squad of 4 that we have yet to see, Jesse, but tonight, maybe the night that they make it shine.
Yeah, and going back, looking through their last matches, their past matches, we obviously get to see some of their scoreboards up on the eFuse website. And Chris Quesadilla absolutely has been leading the way in terms of slaying for this roster. I mean, they haven't been the best roster, haven't been the worst roster for themselves out here. They basically lost to everybody inside of the top 4 inside of this division, outside of the Mavericks, who they go up against tonight. But I mean, most of their losses against those top 4 teams have been pretty close losses. So realistically, if they're able to come out, they're able to make some changes and adjustments from some of those losses. You never know. They might just be able to make the upset happen here tonight against the Mavericks.
You know, and that's one thing we look at, really, from a team. It's not like they have no chance tonight. It's just this is their chance. They need to come out. They need to look good right now. And against a team like the Mavericks, they really need to show their all, Jesse. But I want to take a look at the maps and modes for this, because that's really what's going to tell the story for the rest of this series. So starting off, folks, on our map number 1, we got Hardpoint on Berlin. Map 2 is going to be a second Berlin, so we got a double dose of Berlin right off the rip for Hardpoint and Surge. Map number 3, Gavitu Control. It's going to be an interesting one indeed. But to end this series off, a double dose of Tuscan for the rest of this series. Is there anything that really kind of sticks out to you?
Yeah, so one map in particular really sticking out to me on this one, and that's that Berlin hardpoint. When you're looking at their past matches and who they, they talk about the Trojans. This is kind of the frame up that we're trying to go with right now is that the Trojans really kind of need to come in here, and this is their chance to prove themselves, right? So when you're looking at the Trojans, their past matches, the one map they were able to take off Nebraska, it was a Berlin hardpoint. They won 250 to 108, so clearly probably one of their stronger hardpoint maps. When you look at the Mavericks, very, very tough hardpoint team. They're averaging 50 points on hardpoint, so you need to play your top maps against this Mavericks team. So I'm glad to see that Berlin hardpoint sneak through here.
I'm glad too as well. It's kind of like the saving grace for this roster because I mean, looking at the kind of setup for this squad over on the opposite end for the Mavericks, they've been dominating every single game mode. Not just 1, 2, or 3, but they haven't shown a sign of weakness, Jesse. And
yeah,
if you're Trojans, that's the scary part because when you look at it, you don't know where you can get a leg up over this team.
No, and you really don't. I love that you bring it up as a kind of a complete thing for this roster as well, because like I alluded to, the fact that they've only averaged 50 points against in hardpoint, that's crazy, that's great and all for them. But then when you look at the rest of the stats as well, you're like, okay, well, if they're a great hardpoint team, they must not be that great at search and destroy or control. No, you're wrong.
No,
they've only lost 12 rounds of S&D all season long in 9 matches, and they've lost 1 round of control, 1 round in 6 matches. This team has been unreal this season, and that's what really, and I think the only thing really keeping them outside of top 25 right now is the fact that they really haven't been tested and played against those top schools yet. So once they make that top cut, we really see how this team compares against all the other teams inside the Midwest. That's when we'll really see where this team stands inside of our top 25.
And really for Mankato right now, the Mavericks just coming into this is a warm-up for tomorrow because you talk about a chance to get into the top 25 and to play those. Tomorrow they play, the team that's tied with them right now, Wisconsin. And that's going to be a big implication match right now. So kind of highlighting this whole David and Goliath story. I mean, Mavericks, they're here to just take care of business, whereas Trojans, they're here to spoil the fun. So on either side, it's kind of big for Trojans more than it is Mavericks. But if the Mavericks drop the ball here, that's not going to spell good for tomorrow's match.
No, absolutely. Because if Mavericks go into that match tomorrow with a loss, they're already coming in basically tied up with Wisconsin. But realistically, when you look at that matchup tomorrow against Wisconsin, it's really going to be whoever wins that match will end up coming out inside a top. It doesn't really matter, though, either, because both teams will qualify for top cut no matter what at this stage of the year. So it's not the worst implications, not the best implications. And speaking of implications in general, this match doesn't have a whole ton of them for us because realistically, Dakota State, if they want to make that top cut, there is still a chance. It's not a huge chance, though. They basically need to win out from this point on. So they need to win their match today, their match tomorrow. And then they also need Iowa to lose both of their matches this week. And they're not going up against the strongest of 2 teams in their final 2 matches. So not the best situation for them to go in, but absolutely not completely out of the question here for this team.
Well, let's kick things into gear, Jesse, for our first map of the day here on the Bravo stream. We got a Berlin hardpoint, a big one here for Dakota State University. You don't want to fall victim again to the patterns of this Mavericks team. They've shown dominance day in, day out in the CCL. So we're looking at them to heat up early, take control of this series, and not fall behind inside of this hardpoint. You said this is their best chance, so I'm expecting a lot right now.
Yeah, I feel like Dakota State absolutely need to win this map number 1, Colin. When you look at this, get off to a hot map 1 start, give MNSU their first loss of the year, tell the Mavericks, like, hey, look, we're here to play in this game. Your season is on the line in terms of trying to make top cut. That's what everybody is aiming for right now. You make top cut, you're guaranteed playoffs. That's what the Trojans are aiming for. They need to make it here. They get good side spawns to start us off here, so we'll see what the Mavericks can do playing from the 4 side.
On board with T-Bam spearheading this attack for the Mavericks to retake this site initial. And he goes for the slide, crisp onto Quesadilla. Second one onto Gusher, so the break easy from the Mavericks. Third one in is going to be Shoddy, so able to break things up a bit for the Mavericks, but not able to stop them in their tracks. So they're still going to hold on to this, and this early break, it's going to spell victory for Mavericks.
It's a really good break off for the Mavericks. They're able to get inside, get a good amount of time off the rip here. But the push, it's not completely done yet for Trojans. They'll take another shot at this, but the Mavericks are going to actually flip these spawns out as well. So that's going to pay not so good for the Trojans, because when you look over at our next hill with only 11 seconds being left here on P1, we head over to the mailroom. I thought the Mavericks were going to be in a good spot to be able to rotate over here, but actually Trojans will have the numbers off the rip.
Yeah, Trojans going to be here, but the kill is going purple. Inside the feed, Spirit pops on in. You can still see a few arrows from the Trojans here to spell disaster. Shawty's going to find one. It gets a little bit missy on the inside of that break. It's enough to really push Mavericks against the ropes. Wydog trying to find a few, but instead has to retreat up top. Hops off the top rope. It's going to be good for one, but that's about it. Trojans doing a good job to hold on so far.
You still have a lot of presence here, though, for Maverick, so this hill by no means is over. You really just have Spyrup. He needs to do a good job of playing his life here, trying to stay alive while he waits for the rest of the reinforcements to come in, but he'll fall, so it's just going to be T-Bam in the hill. T-Bam falls, and this should be Trojan's best chance now at getting a good amount of time here on this hill.
3 go down, and that's going to be spelling numbers the way of the Trojans, as they're only 10 points down into the second hill. Heads up play here from Chris Quesadilla, looking for the rotation early. Is going to find T-Bam to put a few on the board for a streak. Not enough to push to the score or the kill streaks, but it is enough to stir up a little bit of a conglomerate inside that. Maverick, though, answer back with a quick 3, so they are going to be in a good spot now in the rotations.
Really like that play from the Mavericks, too. They just chalk the back 20 seconds. They say, hey, you know what? We don't really even need this. Let's just play for the next hill. We know that this P3 hill can absolutely turn into a money hill if we set up right for it, and they have the setup that they want.
It's almost impenetrable when you think you're looking at a Trojan horse to get in here. If you are Dakota right now. T-Bam, though, in such a good position. Finds 2 on the rotation. Kind of stumping this attack so far from the Trojans. He's going to find 5 in a row, make it 6 in a row. Team kill just to make it exciting. Try to find 7. There it is. Full streaks for T-Bam.
Yeah, and the small change from last week to this week, that glide bomb, it's going to cost you 7 now. It's exactly where it should be, though. Just like the CDL, you get to 7 kills in a row, you get that glide bomb. It's a little bit more appropriate for where that streak should be, and this is going to be a full 60 for the likes of the Mavericks here. And on the back of T-Bam going on this 8 spree in the middle, like you said, found that team kill as well. It doesn't really matter, though. It doesn't allude to too much for the Trojans and T-Bam. It does not look like he's done yet. He's going to be that player on rotation here for the Mavericks as well.
But it's not even T-Bam finding these kills. It's his teammates find 3 down on the inside to break on the rotation. So from 3 to 4, it is perfect from Mavericks. They have the setup once again that they want. A power position sniper. Wydog collecting this time. And look at Bladesy here, just making it so hard for the Trojans even to get close to this point. Quesadilla is going to be able to find one shotty a second, but it's just not enough to allow the Trojans in.
They're spawning so far away, too. All the way back at that P1 hill, pretty much just outside the offices on that upper courtyard. And it is just such a long trek to get across the map. You do have one player in the back, though, now in player number 8, and he's actually going to pull the spawns here for Trojans. But with only 20 seconds left on the hill, Mavericks don't even really mind this, because now you can just kind of pinch them in the back and try to hold them back here for the rotation towards our next hill.
Still, not even a break for the scrap time, Jesse. I mean, we highlighted this as Dakota's almost best chance inside the Vetoes to take a map off this Maverick squad, and they're making it look so easy. A 100-point lead going into this 5th hill. Wydog finally taken down from top 3rd. A chance for the Trojans to break here. Bladesy goes down. Brog's a big 2-piece. That's going to open up the site. But off screen, T-Bam still on that streak. He's got 10 in a row, Jesse. Shotty's finally going to put an end to it, but damage has been done. Still that lead for Mavericks. Trojans in control right now, but look at this pincer movement setting up for Mavericks.
And Trojans, they do break that 50-point mark as well, so you know, it's what they've been averaging against them for the likes of the Mavericks. So it's nice to see Trojans. They put up a good amount of fight here in this first set of rotations. If they hold on to this back bit of time, it's only going to be around a 60-point lead going in towards our second set of rotations. That's not too bad considering you're still holding on to those left-hand spawns. And I think that this is going to really make or break this game here. If Trojans can somehow string P4 or P5 here into P1 into the new set of rotations, bring themselves back into this game, I think we could have a really close game come the end of it.
I mean, right now, Jesse, Trojans are above average compared to the rest of their division for hard points against Mavericks, so that's a big takeaway right now. Quesadilla on the inside is able to find 2 on the staircase. T-Bam not expecting the wraparound, but right now, Chris Quesadilla going on a hot one. Can he find 5 in a row? There it is. Breaks the hill. 5 in a row. Not able to find streaks, so no streak on board for Chris Quesadilla, but Shotty somehow, I didn't see this, but he's got streaks of his own, full streaks, in fact.
Yeah, I never noticed that either. So Shotty somewhere finds full streaks here on this map. That's going to be big, too, towards the back half of this game, because I thought that the Mavericks were going to be in a great spot to really try to stomp them out because they have streaks, but he can now counter with his streaks of his own. Probably see those get used most likely on either P3 or P4 in our second set of rotations. That's where you'll really see those streaks come to full effect. But at the end of this hill, this is a hill now won by the Trojans towards the end of this. I doubt you see many lives from the Mavericks get thrown in, probably just a full rotation over towards P3, and we're at virtually a tie game here.
After 2 hills, they're right back into this, Jesse. and it's impressive from the Trojans right now. Let's see if they can keep this momentum going into the second hill. Mavericks are going to be set up first, and so far in the kills column, they are looking a little bit better. Shoddy snaps on Spear Up. 6 in a row is going to double up on the strafing run, but that's not going to matter whatsoever. In for the break come the Trojans. Shoddy finds 7 in a row now. That's going to be T-Bam to fall in. So far, Trojans doing an excellent job at negating time from the Mavericks.
Shoddy and Chris Quesadilla really doing a great job right now of keeping this Trojan roster inside of this game against the Mavericks. But when you're looking at Gusher Goblin, 4 and 15 after a set of rotations, you need to pick that up in the second set if you want this team to win. They're this close with him going that negative right now, so imagine if he picks it up a little bit here in the second set.
Oh, big win there from Bladesy. Last one going to be on the board from Shoddy, and a little bit of help from T-Bam, so that's going to be scrap time looking to get locked down for Mavericks. You look at the rotations, though, Jesse, and Trojans, they're here first time. Last time it was Maverick set up early. Let's see if they can turn this around.
Yeah, they're looking to duplicate basically the same setup we saw from Mavericks the last time through to this hill. It was a full 60 for the Mavericks. They never even got close to breaking. But this time, though, the Mavericks do have streaks if they want to try to break this. Glide Bomb will get invested from T-Bam to find one. Spirit finds one from the front, and now they're going to try to break these spawns in the back, and they absolutely do. They spawn out Trojans.
They do. Glide Bomb floods those players on in to the rest of the teammates for the Mavericks. Allows Blazy now in the back end, but Gusher Goblin on the inside is good for 3. T-Bam in between enemy lines is going to finally fall. Holding on to these spawns are going to be Mavericks, as Blazy doing a great job at giving it their way. So they're going to be able to hit this hill once again. 30 seconds on board. Bruggs with a big win. Close off from the rotation. No flank pressure from the Mavericks, but on the front lines, it's Spear Up going in for one. Wraps around to the window, but it's in fact Gusher Goblin. He wanted to take that fight to the doorstep. And Spear Up, always ready for it, is going to take over.
Unfortunately for the Trojans there, they need to hold that from the front of the hill, which is a little bit harder to do than the backside, especially when they're spawning so close up at that crane in the back left. It's just unfortunate for them. They weren't able to get it done, but you know what, though? You might lose a couple seconds there, but you get the early rotation once again over to the new hill, and that's something they're doing a lot better here in the second set of rotations, is just holding on to spawns, getting the rotations that they want over towards the hills that they want to. But 3 players will end up falling in succession. An unfortunate team kill comes in, and they'll get spawned out here, so Mavericks have the numbers to break for sure going into this hill now.
Trojans have been doing a great job on rotations in the second set. Now in a chance where they could tie us up once more. Shots from Wideout, good for 1. That's about it. Still Trojans in control of this hill. Bruggs around the back, finds T-Bam, but look at the kill feed. Lights up purple, so in retaliation, Mavericks are able to find this. Wideout lines up 2. Down trade station, so it's just going to put Mavericks in even better position right now. And we remember back to that first set of rotations, Jesse. This 5th hill is where the Trojans brought this back.
It really is, and they are going to be the first team once again set up inside this hill, and they did a really good job on the last set of rotations of not only getting a good amount of time on this hill, Colin, but also stringing this hill back into P1 as well. But right now, they are not in control of those left side spawns. That's something they need to focus on towards the back half of this hill, along with not allowing Mavericks to win, because Mavericks only need 30 seconds to put the game away here on P5.
Bladesy in the back. Shots from Spear Up is going to make that shot a little bit helpful. Still trading hit for hit right now, our Mavericks and Trojans, but soaking up as much time as they can. Having Trojan Esports. Nice little wraparound from T-Bam. Finds Gusher. The trade's going to be there, but favoring numbers from Mavericks are going to be able to hit this hill with an advantage. Bruggs on the inside. Able to back off Bladesy for now. Teammate's going to clean that one up from behind. It's Spear Up to take him down. 219 to 195. 20 seconds here, but what you need to worry about if you're Trojans is this rotation. Last time they were so good, but this time they're kind of caught in this 5th hill.
Well, they find 4 down, so now they just need to push forward. Everybody needs to fly here. If you're the Mavericks, you can no longer win on this hill, so Trojans, you need to make that known. Need to fly forward, need to try to get these spawns and these rotations, but right now it will be the Mavericks, the first team here to the opposite hill. You will get a big kill for Braggs, and he gets away with his life as well, so absolutely massive, but it doesn't allude to anything. But you get the top side spots at the very least now for Trojans to break.
You got to pin Shoddy around the staircase. This is going to be Pinnacle now to this Trojans map number 1. Shoddy's on the inside for the time, holding this close angle. Another pinch now. This time the Mavericks are going to be hitting it. In comes T-Bam. He's going to find the kill into Gusher. Breaks this hill. Contention so far for the map, but the Mavericks are in and they're taking control. 20 seconds left. They have the site under control. They can put this away.
Absolutely close it out here if you're the Mavericks. Look how far away Trojans are spawning. They can only hit this one last time.
Here they come. Through Burning Spear up, cutting off the rotations. Nice win onto Shoddy. Progs to the inside. He's going to fall. Mavericks, a 4 down for themselves, and they're going to lock down Berlin. 250 to about 211. What a map one out of both squads. Probably the best hardpoint we've seen against Mavericks, but just not enough to take them down.
Exactly what you wanted to see, though, Colin, coming into this one. We were talking about it, and we said, hey, in the virtual green room, when we came into this one, we said, if they can get a Berlin hardpoint, this is probably their best chance of taking a map against this Mavericks roster. What hurts so bad for me is they just don't capitalize on their opportunity. We said this was a must win for Dakota State to come out and win this map. Unfortunately for them, though, they just fall short. If you get one more break on that P1 hill, you're a lot closer and maybe can even put it out. But you got to give them credit for that fight that they put up. We hyped this up as a David versus Goliath match. They absolutely performed. Gusher Goblin even had a better second set of rotations there. You saw that big three-piece for him on P3 in the second set. They gave it their all. Unfortunately, just felt that little bit too much short against this Mavericks roster.
Yeah, David's looking pretty strong today, Jesse, and I'm impressed from what I saw out of them. One of my big questions was, Chris Quesadilla, we were expecting him to turn up for the squad, but who is going to be that secondary gunner for the Trojans? And it was Shoddy. Shoddy came out full streaks, in fact, for them.
Twice.
Yeah, they lose the map, but I think that is kind of igniting the hopes for a lot of viewers here that the Trojans can, in fact, take a map off this Maverick squad. They already got step one. They're making it known that they're a team that can bring the fight. Now, let's see them kind of push that victory line. Let's see them win a map now.
Well, clearly they're comfortable on Berlin. There's no question about that. So we go to Berlin again for our Search and Destroy next. When you're looking at Search and Destroy against Mavericks, it has been very, very good for this team so far this year. Probably one of their stronger modes. I mean, you can't really say they really have a weak mode right now outside of all their modes with how well they've played. But if you're the Trojans, you just need to find any little opportunity you can. Make sure there's no mistakes on your side of your roster if you want to take a map off this team and come out and absolutely give it your all against this Mavericks roster. It's what we saw in that map number 1. Unfortunately, was not enough there. They just barely fall short. But in map 2, in a Search and Destroy, where you can slow things down, play off picks, look for your main slayers to really pop off. You need Chris Quesadilla on his top level, and then also just the rest of the players. They just need to step up. Gusher Goblin, he had a really, really rough first set of the rotations there. He was, 4 and 11, 4 and 12 at the end of that first set. If he has a better first set of rotations there, they might even be in the lead at the end of the first set.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tough. I'm sure he was playing that objective role as well for his team, but you would love to see him step up here in the Search and Destroy.
Well, we said, I mean, the stat for Mavericks going into that hard point is they were averaging 50 points against teams in their division. Well, Trojans just dropped 211 against them. So way above average right now are Trojans in the hard points against Mavericks. Now, Search and Destroy was the secondary stat we brought up, that they've only lost 12 across the regular season, 12 rounds of Search and Destroy across the regular seasons. Now being 6 weeks in, that stat is absolutely magnificent, Jesse. So Berlin, Search and Destroy, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, if Crispy and Shoddy kind of do their own, it's kind of going to be a little bit easier. They definitely look comfortable on Berlin, but a big question in my mind is, are we going to see a sniper? Are we going to see strats from them? I mean, there's important things that I need out of Trojans for this Search and Destroy to be able to take down Mavericks.
Yeah, I think the big thing is going to be post-plant setups for this Trojans roster, because you can get that bomb down and B all day long, but if you don't have a good setup to watch and hold that bomb down there, it's one of the hardest setups to break inside of Berlin. If you can get that bomb down on the B site, break those doors, get set up in the back warehouse, you can almost guarantee yourselves offensive round wins. It's just much easier said than done. You need to get that bomb down, get the right setups, and you can absolutely pull yourself away. But Minnesota, I'm sure they've got some set strats to try to break into some of those setups, into some of those situational plays. And I think for the Trojans here, you want to win this map, you got to play some mind games with your opponents. Don't just do the same hits over and over again. Really spice things up when you're heading towards either bomb site.
One big thing, I don't want to put an exclamation mark on it, Jesse, but somebody's got to shut down T-Bam as well. I mean, he looks like a free spirit right now on the map, and if he's allowed to do that on Search and Destroy, things might get a little bit nasty.
couldn't agree more. Mavericks right off the rip. Very quick hit over towards this B site. You've only got one player watching. I believe that's a sniper on Shoddy in the back as well, just from the angle that he's watching this from. But he's not going to get anybody. But he should have spotted that cross there. And you can already see the rest of the Trojan players making their push across the middle map. And you're able to get first blood.
First blood down. Spear up now. Forced to push into the site. But Chris Quesadilla sniffs him out again. 2 down. Shoddy with the sniper. Pushing up a little bit more, but you can see this white arrows collapsing, and really, you got to be looking at player number 2. Going to be having late rotation for that post plant for Maverick. It's going to be key to the rest of the series, too, if this is going to be a successful post plant or not. But on the inside, T-Bam's able to find one. Shoddy for the trade. 2v1 right now. They should know this post plant's going to be on board. Is anybody going to put the stretch to the bomb? Bladesy, does he have eyes on? He does, but in fact, he's getting kind of snuffed out right now by Chris Quesadilla, and the defuse is going to come through.
So unfortunately, not only do you have Chris Quesadilla watching over, but the bomb planter didn't break the doors either. So he had no angle on the bomb. They closed both doors. They were able to just get a free bomb defuse there, along with having Chris Quesadilla watching over, able to shut down that push. And that's a great first round from Trojans. They come in, bomb gets planted, 4v4 retake. They push through the middle of the map. They get everything they need in that round to close that round out and give themselves an advantage here in the S&D, already coming away with the defensive round win. And they're looking to do the exact same thing Mavericks did in that last round. A very quick hit over towards this B site. You will have one player here, though, in Y-Dog, who might be able to shut this down here for the Mavericks.
Oh, Broggs is looking the wrong way. Y-Dog, slow peek in. The stun check's there. Wraps around for this one. Bomb goes down, but so does Y-Dog. So Chris Quesadilla lives to breathe another fight. Bomb goes down, numbers the Trojan.
And now if you're Mavericks in this 3 versus 2, or in this 3 versus 4 retake, having a sniper in Spire's hand is not a good thing, because he needs to get aggressive onto this bomb. He's going to get tagged up, and he should get cleaned up very quickly here. But no, he hits the shot. He's going to be able to find one, and this gives bomb clears for them to be able to get into the site now.
Brooks finds a second. Spear still looking for heads with the sniper. Has recovered the MP40. Is it going to be enough? Nice kill onto Gusher. 1v1. Shoddy on the lineup, but the shots are going to be out. No time. No health. Trojans lineup 2.
That's a crazy round out of the Trojans. Not only do you get a good start to that round, but the fact that you allow site clearance, allow them back onto the site, and you don't lose that round out. There was just, they burnt way too much time off the clock, that they were able to take that round number 2 as well. A very good start to this search and destroy. We said they look comfortable on Berlin, Colin. They're looking just as comfortable here inside of Berlin S&D as they did inside of that Berlin hardpoint. Absolutely love to see it here. And Trojans, man, we said they were the David coming into this matchup against Goliath. Well, they're putting up a hell of a fight right now. And Mavericks off the start of this round. It's going to be a hit over towards this A site.
Oh.
Gusher Goblin will find first blood, and Spire can't make the trade.
I'm sure he's surprised at that. Early shots on a Spear Up, but he finds the kill on the Bladesy. In retaliation, losing out on 2 players isn't going to be the best situation to be in. T-Bam now putting the pressure on, but Gusher's still finding these one-on-ones, Jesse, and there's no trade to take him down. So 2v2, when the dust settles, you're looking at Y-Dog on this flank to really start this, and there it is. He finds the kill on the Shoddy, looking the wrong way. Gusher now, big job to do in a 2v1.
We said he needed to step up inside of the hard point. Well, here's his chance now inside of the search and destroy. Like you said, 1 versus 2 situation, not the easiest to be able to win, but he has every opportunity in the world. He's just going to sit on this A site for now. Doesn't want to make any big, massive play, give his life away for free. But fortunately for him, in doing so, he allows the bomb to go down and a post-plant setup to come in from the right side here for the Mavericks, so they can get into a great spot to be able to watch this. He's going to go on the long flank and check warehouse first.
Gets the right timing, he's going to find Y-Dog, but as the time drains down, you have to think that Mavericks are going to get a little bit of a heads-up feeling, a little bit of tingle in their pack. That he's going to be back here. Swings through the door. No audio just yet. He bursts on out, doesn't check the right way. Y-Dog sitting as patient as ever, putting Mavericks on the board. A really big heads-up play from T-Bam as well to take that bomb from the A site to the B site, because Gusher was looking unstoppable over in the offices.
Yeah, Gusher, he was in a great spot there to shut anything down in offices. And as soon as T-Bam got that bomb, they said, hey, you know what? Let's just rotate this bomb out. We don't need to push this. We're in a 2-versus-1. Let's just get this bomb down, get into the right post play and setup. They absolutely do. And for Gusher there, you're basically in a 50-50. You break out that door. You either look left or right. Unfortunately, it looks right. The player's left, and he ends up falling. But you had to know there was probably either a player in that back room or in that same situation. Just unfortunate he guessed wrong that time. And this time, you're going to get a much more aggressive defense from Mavericks off the rip towards this B site. And they're able to find Crisp Quesadilla with the bomb. So that's bomb down in a very rough spot here for Trojans.
When they stop there, so this attack from Trojans has a chance to adjust. The only thing is that bomb is in such a bad spot. And on attack with Shoddy, wrapping the sniper rifle, you can't get aggressive with him inside these buildings unless you're going to put that rat to work. So who spots the player up top? No shots, though, lined up. Mavericks are in such a good position right now, Jesse. They don't have to move it an inch.
And why don't you see? He's just going to play this corner, wait to see if this bomb gets picked up. And I don't know if he noticed that the bomb got grabbed there. So they're going to continue just to hold stagnant in their spot. And actually, he's tethered right beside Shoddy. So Shoddy will have a one-on-one, and Shoddy and Goblin both with their ones at the exact same time. So now a man advantage to Trojans, and Briggs can get this bomb down.
The flip is script, and Mavericks, they know that. They're going to put the pedal to the metal to cut through this map. They've made their way into mailroom. You do have Trojans wrapping off for this post plan, and Shoddy now getting up top, has an MP40, but also has this sniper rifle, Jesse. You lose Gusher Goblin, so 2v2. Look at the Mavericks. They know. They know that Shoddy's going to be back here. They find him first 1v2 in the back. Bruggs to make this happen, to push Trojans up by 3 or by 2 once more. 19 seconds. The shots are going to be out. Meets them on the other side. Good for 1v1. Bladesy last alive. It looks like he's on the chase as well. In behind, he's going to find it. And there's plenty of time to get the defuse. So Mavericks are going to tie us up by 2.
Gets a nice little 3 seconds to spare at the end there. And I love that play from the Mavericks, though. They notice, hey, bomb's down at B. Very likely going to be a warehouse setup here. And it absolutely was. The player was in the back, had the sniper ready to go, but it just was not enough. Mavericks able to tie us up at 2-2. They sniffed out the exact post-plan setup that they had, got the job done exactly how they needed to tie us up at 2-2, like I just said. And now back on offense, we'll see what the Mavericks decide to do. It was a very successful hit towards A in the last round. Or sorry, not so successful of a hit towards A, but they were able to wrap the bomb out towards B and get it down in a post-plant 2v1. So we'll see what they decide to do here. They've hit both sites, and this time it's going to be a hit right through middle of the map. But bomb still heading over towards the A site.
You remember Gusher back here was almost unstoppable. I'm surprised they're going back to the A side. Spearup's going to hop down mid. Spots out Chris Quesadilla, feeding that information to the rest of the team. And you see Bladesy hyper-focused on this staircase. The rest of the team still making their way over to the A side. Nobody has taken a gunfight just yet, but T-Bam on the cusp of finding somebody. Door's going to swing open. I think the information was there from the Trojans as well. You're seeing a lot of adjustments from both teams.
I think one thing you're seeing right now from the Mavericks as well is that they've noticed that there's not a whole lot of presence right now over towards this B side, so that's why they still haven't made a hit over towards A, and they find the only player that was over there, and now T-Bam might actually even be able to get in behind the player who's actually watching this long street. He absolutely does. This should start the rotation here for Trojans, but everybody on Mavericks are in perfect places to shut the rotation down.
You can see just Mavericks slipped every single line at the right time, and just all at once they just popped off and found 3 different 1v1s without Trojans even noticing they were there. So quiet, so slippery, and so surgical. Broggs is able to find 1, 35 seconds against for this retake. 1v3 would have to be an ace. An ace clutch to make that happen in general. Y-Dog so far away on the inside. T-Bam takes the gunfight and shuts him down. 3 rounds in a row, Mavericks are going to take their lead.
Yeah, so after 2 rounds in a row to start off for Dakota State, you get the Mavericks, they come out and they completely shut things down in these last 3 rounds. That round was clinical. I mean, they found every single timing they needed to through middle of the map, found every single kill. I think only one of them ended up falling towards the end of the round, but still, when you can force out 1v4s, it's almost going to guarantee you round wins. It's what happens there in that round. And now Trojans, they need to start answering back. You've seen the adjustments coming from Mavericks. It's time for adjustments from Trojans here. It's going to be a full 4-man hit over towards this A site. They do have the numbers, so they might just be able to overwhelm these players inside offices.
Again, just so quiet off the rip, and it's almost like a spring being pushed. So much tension. And just at once, they can all just electrically burst out to take these gunfights.
Really feels like both teams just want to play for information right now. Neither team wants to get too aggressive. Neither team wants to give up that first blood. And T-Bam's going to throw a shoulder. So they have now information that he's here. Stun check goes out. If he hits that, they might fly at this. But no, they're going to stun and choose to back up here. I don't know how I feel about this. This might end up working out for them, though, because you can see the wrap from Y-Dog pushing off the site. So as soon as they throw the stuns and they throw all the nades over towards that site, they get off. But I think Y-Dog just spotted the cross.
A little bit of Serpentine from Brogstein on the inside. Bomb's going down, but like you said, Y-Dog's here to spoil the fun. Wrapping around free kill. Bomb down. 30 seconds now for Trojans to make an adjustment into this side, and nobody's in a position to make a move at this. They're going to find Y-Dog. The cross is there. Spear up misses the snipe. So Bomb's going to go down, Jesse. 3v3. Mavericks are in a position to hit this right away. No post-plant setup is going to be allowed. T-Bam inside the mailroom. Spots Quesadilla. Another one bites the dust. Now Trojans with the numbers. Bomb down. What are we looking at for the Mavericks?
This is your furthest player pushed up for the Mavericks. So now you really can get into a post-plant setup here for the Trojans. It's just going to leave Bladesy by himself. Bladesy falls, and Trojans will take the round, tie us back up at 3-3. I thought it was going to get dicey there once you saw the wrap back from Y-Dog, but they were able to sniff him out after he found the first blood. They got that bomb down, and it was all about finding that first kill onto the player pushing up into the site. Once they got that player in the site, that allowed them to get back, set up in the post plant they wanted to, then close the round out in the 3v1. Exactly what you want to do there. And now we got to keep our eyes on Crisp Quesadilla. On 4 in a row, if he can find streaks towards the back half of this game, that could be the difference maker in this match for them to be able to win it.
That was an ace from Crisp Quesadilla. Absolutely flawless from himself, just dancing inside the mailroom. Early into the round, though, Spear Up's going to put Gusher Goblin 6 feet under. Numbers to the Mavericks for this A-side push. And nobody from the Trojans are in a place to really contest this on the inside of the offices.
And they should know that, too. Gusher's been the player over towards A every single round here for the for the Trojans. So Mavericks, they should have an idea that this site should be fairly cleared out unless they think there's one more player in here. But they're going to look through every angle, spot nobody, and this should be clearance for now for Y-Dog to put this bomb down at A.
As soon as this bomb goes down, you're looking at Chris Casey to start this flank, to look to fish a kill for Mavericks to even us up, and here he goes. 3 players from the Mavericks on the inside. T-Bam, he spots this one. So Chris Quesadilla, you thought you were being sneaky. You thought you were a ninja, but no. Now they know the jig is up. Y-Dog's going to turn around, takes down Chris Quesadilla. No flank anymore for the Trojans. The rest of the players going to be feeding on in from the front line, and T-Bam, top third, is just going to be putting them down. Mavericks might have slipped up in the last round, but they're going to take it right back.
And that's just a good hard counter from the Mavericks. One of the only times we've really seen the side of the Trojans only send one player over towards that site is the one time they find that player immediately off the start of it. And you could see the Mavericks were still very hesitant to push into that A site, but as soon as they realized, like, hey, this site is clear, they got that bomb down for so free. And then T-Bam spotted Crisp Quesadilla in the back, and that was just curtains for Trojans in that round. Once you get that flank figured out, you really just have one hit from the front, and it's a 2v4 at just a bad situation to be in. Now, again, Trojans choose to kind of split their pushes across.
Oh, no.
Shoddy's going to be completely by himself, so he just needs to get out of dodge here. But the bomb very much so right now making its way over towards B.
A dangerous situation on both fronts right now for the Trojans. Really sink or swim situation for them. Kind of trapped inside everything. Every setup that they have. But Shoddy's looking to still make a play through the back of the map. And nobody knows this. Nobody knows Shoddy's going to be back there. Finds the shots of the one. It's going to take down T-Bam. Y-Dog, no idea. There's a player right behind him. Shoddy puts up 2 now for the team. Last one on the site is going to be Spear Up for Mavericks. And inside needs to go big for the squad. Gets spot out. Finds Chris Quesadilla. That's bomb down, Jesse. Still alive on the inside. Keeping a chance for the Mavericks. A second one, but now all alone in a 1v2. Has to make the ace. The third one on the run. Bomb down 1v1 for Shoddy. 27 seconds just to dance around the site, but the hunt is still there for Shoddy. Look for the other side. Gets the better shots. Gets the timing. Trojans, a close one, but they're going to tie it up again.
It's unfortunate because it really felt like throughout that round, Trojans really never had any numbers on either site because they stacked 2 players through mid. But those 2 players through mid, once you survived that initial breakoff where you had 2v1s on both sites, as soon as you survived that and your players through mid were able to get in behind, that's what made the difference. They were able to find all those kills in the round. Shoddy's now on 4 in a row, possibly looking for streaks for himself. And I said it once, I'll say it again. If you can find streaks towards the back of this game, can be absolutely detrimental towards your opposing team. If he can find a glide bomb, bomb, hitting that B site with the glide bomb can be so much of an advantage on offense or on defense for your team. And Crisp Quesadilla will find first blood here.
Oh, no.
He'll find second as well, so completely shuts down any push over towards B.
Aggressive out of the Trojans. Now they have numbers advantage. Spear up, still alive on the inside, but surrounded by Trojan horses. Bomb is down. Gonna have to recover it. Most importantly, though, Bladesy playing so passively in the spawn is gonna turn this up, but Spear up gets dropped in the inside of Mailroom, leaving Bladesy last alive for the Mavericks in a 1v4 situation, in no position, Jesse, to bring this back. It's going to have to be a miracle for him to take it down. Shoddy's going to spot him out, and Shoddy's going to push them now to map point inside Berlin Search and Destroy.
This is really, really big. We said coming into this one that the Mavericks have only lost 12 rounds of S&D all year. Well, they're looking at possibly losing half of those total rounds here inside of this game if they lose it out and they lose all 6 rounds. You need to make your adjustments on defense. You need to make them now. You've still got Shoddy on streak watch as well, on 5 in a row. Even if they lose this round, if he can find that glide bomb towards the end of this, can be massive. We'll see if they can do so. But Trojans off the start, it's going to be another slow hit over towards this A site. They do keep one player and some progression over towards B, just so they can get a feel out for where all these Maverick players are. But all the Maverick players, they're stacking up towards mid. They don't want to show their hand too early.
Oh, look at T-Bam. Oh, look at T-Bam. He's going to find Chris Quesadilla. Big hitter off the board. Look at the trade early. Gusher's going to be there. We say even Steven now after T-Bam goes down. The bomb hasn't made any progress there, and instead Mavericks have actually put Y-Dog now in a situation and very aggressive angle. You have to be careful, but Bruggs just got blessed with his timing. Misses the jump, and now he's going to spot out Y-Dog and take him down.
And they start making the wrap back over to B because it's where they want to get this bomb down. But you've got Bladesy watching over the middle, so as soon as this bomb crosses, he will have all that information here for the Mavericks.
Oh, no.
He doesn't see it!
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I think he saw it at the last second there.
Look, COD timing it exists, and it's very annoying. Spear up now is going to have to make a play, but again, it's Bruggs to shut him down. 1v3 for Bladesy. Bomb's going to go down. And again, this is going to have to be a miracle for your new kid on the block to bring this one back. Hasn't spotted a single player. The post plan is going to be set up for the Trojans, Jesse. 35 seconds, and this is just looking unwinnable right now. He's going to have to go big on the inside. Doesn't spot out the player. Fine Shoddy. On the inside of this, it's going to be Gusher. Goblin drops down. He's going to tie us up. Trojans bring us to a 1-1 map set against the undefeated Maverick Esports.
Taking the first map off this Mavericks team. They have not lost a map all season long. And Dakota State will come out and they will be able to take this map number 2. Absolutely incredible job by them. Great mid-map adjustments to be able to take that Berlin Search and Destroy against this Mavericks roster. You're really looking at Crisp Quesadilla and Shoddy, though. Those two players, 9-7, 9-5. You asked who was going to step up to the plate. You answered with Shoddy in game 1. He steps up again here in game number 2 to really help this roster out to be able to win out on this map. And, I mean, Colin, when you're looking at this roster, I mean, we kind of weren't expecting for them to be able to come in and really take a map off Mavericks with how this Mavericks team has looked all year. But they are 100% bringing the fight to them right now.
Jesse, look, I mean, it's not even the search and destroy. It's the hard point, too. I mean, Trojans, a few changes to the start of their hard point, and they could have taken down Mavericks there as well. So both Berlin maps right now from the Mavericks, they haven't looked the hottest, and that is not what I was expecting today out of the squad. A squad that's on the come-up right now in CCL, looking to push into the top 25 with a big win, or with 2 big wins this week, would most likely propel them that way. But Trojans, I mean, this might be the kryptonite right now. They might be the team to take them down.
I mean, hey, we said it. The Trojans have looked decent in a lot of their losses. They've only lost to the top 3 teams inside of this division. And really, whenever you look at this roster, all their games have been very close. All their maps against those top teams have been very close. So if any team was going to come out here and upset this Mavericks roster, this Trojans team absolutely could be the team. When you're looking at the back half of this map set, though, you don't have any Berlins left. They're going to have to get the job done on another map.
When we're looking at this matchup, Jesse, It's 1-1 in this David versus Goliath story. We got Gavitu Control coming up next, folks. It's a big swing map that you don't want to miss. Red alert right now between both of these squads. We'll be right back after this break. Folks, welcome back to the CCL 2022 Bravo stream. We got the Mavericks Esports versus Trojan Esports tied 1 apiece, Jesse. And you guys, it might just be another day on the block for a 1-1 going into map number 3. But right now, for this game, is the first map that the Mavericks have even lost. So going into this Gavitu Control, so many implications, so many exclamation marks.
Yeah, clearly this is the best this Trojans roster has been so far. The best that we've seen anybody be able to test this Mankato Mavericks roster as well. And I mean, when you're looking at this, we go to Gavutu Control next. And as much as I would love for this comeback story for the Trojans to happen, this map scares me a little bit for them here.
It does.
You go to a map like Gavutu, where slaying on this map is going to be so important, whether you're on offense or on defense. Trojans have had 2 very good players step up so far. Outside of those 2 players, though, you need your other 2 to step up here inside of a respawn. You can't rely on just 2 players to pop off like you saw inside of the S&D. You had 2 players who, they combined for 18 kills inside of that search. So when we head into Control, everybody needs to be on their top game if they want to take this map.
And I mean, they were moments away from finding the lead into that hard point, Jesse. When you're looking at Gavitu Control, I guess it's something to highlight over that it's not the easiest to attack. So want to see who's on the first defensive side between both of these 2 squads, because a lot of the time, I mean, this will go a map 5 or a round 5 inside Control, and a lot of the time is the defensive team with the advantage. So it's pretty straightforward for a Gavitu. Are we going to see an attacking round? If so, I mean, you're going to have to see those Slayers step up like you're talking about. But most importantly, I think if Gavitu Control, I'm looking at who gets the first defensive side, and they got to make it look very convincing.
I mean, both teams, though, have to make it look very convincing on defense. That's how you win that final defensive round, is by being able to outslay the other team through the first 4 rounds. So we'll see which team is able to do it a little bit better here, because like you said, very little times do we ever see that A site on Control on Gavutu get captured. I think that one of these 2 teams might just be up for the task, though, here. I think we're going to get a really good Gavutu Control out of these 2 teams just from how these first 2 maps have looked. And if you're just joining us now, it was a 250 to 211 in map 1 on that Berlin hardpoint. The Mavericks were able to sneak it out. And then in map number 2, handing the Mavericks their first loss, the Trojans were able to take the map 6-4. So it's been a good series so far, and I think it's only going to get better from this point on.
Folks, you're just tuning in. This is the Bravo stream for the CCL as well. And I mean, that hard point early on from the Mavericks, it was a win, but it was probably their most tested win that we've seen all season long. And then losing out on the search and destroy, definitely going to be a big implication going into this one. They haven't lost yet in a map. What's that going to mean to their mental? This is like something they haven't experienced yet in the season on stream or inside their matches. So how are they going to bounce back into this Control?
That's a great
We're going to have to look at them right into this attack to see if they can make that happen, if it's just something they can brush off.
It's a great question. It's going to be an all-out A hit for the Mavericks over towards the LST ship, and every player now gonna hop on, stack this point. That A zone is going so quickly. Already a tick of progress. Crisp Quesadilla will be the only player forward now for Trojan to be able to make a stop here. He's gonna fall. This should be A zone completely done at this point.
I was wondering how they're gonna bounce back after a loss, and that's one way to do it. You guys look great. Never mind. Don't take me literal next time like you just did. Bladesy looking to lead the way into the artillery tower. We're looking Mavericks looking to siege this B site. First kill is going to be on the board. Second one off screen going to be happening around the LST ship. No, player number 5, Bruggs, actually slips the line, Jesse. So no really tight hold just yet for the Mavericks. And a team nade from Y-Dog. That's going to slow it down.
Absolutely slows down that whole play. Y-Dog's going to be the only player pushed up forward, and he's going to fall as well. So now you got to also wait for Y-Dog to come off spawn, because you want to try to hit this site as a 4-man unit. Go through the south jungle, trying to break your way into this zone. It's a lot easier said than done. And I was completely wrong earlier, by the way, when I was saying that you don't see the A site captured very often. It's the B site that is the much more tough site to be able to capture, and that's the one that you can see this team trying to break right now. But Spire has snuck his way through the South Jungle, and he'll have shots onto the back of these two players here.
So patient is going to pay off in dividends to go down. Shotty's still alive, but not for long. Trojans now down 4 players. And inside the life count, they are down monumental at the moment. On the B site, it is going to be stepped on for the Mavericks. They stop the clock. They start collecting progression. Spear up still coming off these rotations. Mavericks in full control at the moment. Can they find the kills on the inside? Why not? Good for one. Has to swap to the secondary. He's got an MP40, and the MP40 is able to get it done. Cuts down 2. Another 4 down. They stack the site. Mavericks stomping an exclamation point onto round number 1.
Well, Colin, if you wanted to see how they were going to bounce back from their very first map loss inside of the CCL, well, there's your answer. Come out with the Kivutu offensive round win in round number 1. Exactly what you want to see when you want to think of bounce back rounds for a roster who has never lost a map. Resilience still on their side. They can absolutely still bounce it back. And they just won that round with Bladesy going 1-4 in the round as well. Take that in. This Mavericks roster, they have absolutely no quit inside of them. Able to take that first offensive round very convincingly. And honestly, that starts off with that big 3-man hit over towards A off the rip there. You had no pressure from Trojans, and they're going to need to make that adjustments on their next defense.
Yeah, I mean, last weekend we saw back-to-back offensive rounds in the CDL on Gavitu, and I think that was a first for myself, so that would be something majestic to see happen in the CCL right now. T-Bam on screen, looking to cut off these players to the A side, finds the player in Sniper's Nest on 5 in a row. Let me say, looking for streaks, finds the strafing run, 6 in a row for T-Bam, 7 around the corner, but he just hasn't met that player yet. A lot of teammates coming up big with these kills, and T-Bam's going to fall before he gets the glide bomb.
That's a big kill there as well. You need to make sure you're keeping pressure on this LST ship here for the Trojans. You can't let these players sneak through on the side of Mavericks, because that's when you can get put back into this spawn trap. But they're doing a good job so far of keeping players pushed forward, keeping progression actually going up on the A zone as well here. You still got one player inside the site, but Gusher Goblin will fall, but he gives his teammates just enough time to not get put into that spawn trap just yet.
Now you see Mavericks looking to push this line of scrimmage for the offense, or for the defense, let me say. Spear up, don't do it to him. Is he hitting the deck? Is going to be Gusher Goblin now on the escape, but Jesse, the damage has been done in the spawn trap. It's set up right now for the Mavericks. Gusher Goblin's going to find a kill onto Bladesy, so that opens things up, and a second one is going to open up a route to the B site. They got to make this work. Goblin goes huge.
Haven't been able to get either site yet, and you've only got 24 seconds left. So right now, Trojans, you kind of need to make a choice. You need to hit towards one of these 2 sites and make your choice. It's going to be A that they go towards, and this third tick of progress coming in. They've got 2 players on the site, so it's coming in quite quickly compared to other sites, and they will get that third tick of progress done and dusted. Only a 4 life difference inside of this round right now, but here comes the hard part. You need to break in towards B, but Briggs has been able to sneak through the back.
It hasn't been clean for the Mavericks on this defense, and Trojans, no doubt that they are out of this yet. Brooks still looking for the player on the inside of Mail, gets the initial shots, finishes T-Bam. 17 lives to 15 lives, a minute on the clock. You see Trojans now setting up for this attack. Nice shots from Shoddy. Sniffs out that player, laying down to the fences, trying to get to this B site, but off the respawns, you can see the Mavericks, they resurge. They find 2. Chris Quesadilla looking to keep the pressure on, but I mean, if they're Trojans, Jesse, you need to slow down, and you need to go back to the drawing board.
And Chris Quesadilla is trying to make the exact same play that we saw T-Bam do for the Mavericks in the last round, where he makes that sneak play in through South Jungle. This time, though, there was no trigger discipline for him there from Chris Quesadilla. You saw the trigger discipline in that last round from T-Bam on that flank when he found all those kills. You didn't get it there, and now you're just completely pinned into your spawn. If you are Trojans, you really only have 1 player push forward in player number 8, but the rest of your team is about to just get picked off spawn over and over again, because these players on Mavericks, the positions they're in, you are not going to let anybody sneak through right now.
Over and over and over again, Jesse. 3 lives for the Trojans, 4 seconds left. Mavericks are going to go up 2-0 inside this control, and they are looking good. Yes, they give up the A site. Yes, they give up a little bit of pressure to B, but off the respawn, they go big to resurface. They find the kills that they're needed, and they take back control of the map.
And, I mean, not only have you now lost 2 rounds in a row for the Trojans, but also it is like 25 to 50 in terms of lives right now. Not a great situation to be in for the Trojans, because not only do you now need to win these next 2 rounds, at least you get to start with the defense. But you also now have to also slay out like 25 kills to catch up to try to hope that you can get that final defense, because that will be your best chance at being able to take this map off of these Maverick team. But you're going to have to win an offense, and that's going to be the hardest part.
I think the hardest part right now is winning a round for Trojans inside this control is a little harsh to say, but Mavericks have looked like they've been in the driver's seat since the start. Over to the A side again. They're going to be putting this early pressure on. Spear up, collecting time. Here it comes. The break. Chris KCD is going to go down first, even in lives, Jesse. So that is a silver lining to come away with if you're the Trojans right now. And Goblin again going big with 2 kills in a row to slow down the Mavericks once more.
You get much more pressure this time from the Trojans towards this A site throughout this round. You don't just allow it to get capped off immediately here, but you will get a couple kills in a row. So now Mavericks, they can hop right back onto the site.
Time's going fast. Don't have the stack, but Blazy on the inside. Bryce is going to find one. Stun's going through. Still finds the kill. 3 down for Trojans. It's going to be the A site going fast now, Jesse, as they're looking to push another minute onto the board. And is anybody here from Trojans to stop this? Only one. It's Braggs. Finds the first kill. Steals Spear up on the inside. He's going to collect this A site, push them up by a minute. And they have the life advantage as well, so they can slow things down, pump the brake, and hit the gas right off the bat.
Braggs was not enough to be able to shut this down completely. And like you said, TBM's already on this B site, so already making waves, annoying this Trojans roster over on the beach. And you can see they really only have one line of attack at this site right now, but TBM inside, he's going absolutely massive. Can't get the final kill, so that's actually going to stop the progression on B going up. But now if you're Mavericks, I mean, you should know you had 3 down. You got to try to get back onto the site before they can really reinforce from the south jungle.
TBM was the player to open things up last time. Spear's looking to be that guy this time around. 3 in a row, make it in the feed. 4 in a row in the spree. On site, it's Wydog. Shimmies his way back down to find Shani in the back. Still a pinch setting up from Spear Up. It's a little bit slow to the break, but it's going to be there nonetheless. Oh, it was a millisecond to be captured. Spear Up goes down. A Hail Mary push now from Spear Up to close this one out. He's going to get onto this hill. A little bit of contention from Shani, and Trojan's still alive, but barely breathing.
Spear Up does still have that streak though, so wait for him to come off spawn here. You're looking at the Mavericks. They don't want to get too aggressive because I would imagine you're about to see this streak get invested. You can drop it on the back and then hope that it finds a few kills with the strafing run and then push forward off behind it.
You can turn this into a TDM, Jesse. They'll need 4 kills in a minute to close this out. It's a 4v14 as a 10 life advantage. Here comes Spear Up around the corner. He's going to find Gusher looking to pre-fire onto a player coming wrapping around. It's not going to be there. Instead, going to take the fight to Shoddy. The trade comes through, but the damage, it is done. 12v2 now. 49 seconds. As this would be something of a miracle to see Trojans win this control point at the moment. Wydog hits the wraparound. Is going to find Chris KCD looking the wrong way now. Broggs last alive, and as he walks into the line of fire, it's going to be the Mavericks with a 3-0 win on Gavitu control to take the swing map.
Yeah, I just want to know where this Mavericks team has been this entire match so far, because this is the Mavericks. This is the undefeated Mavericks that we were expecting to see coming into this one, Colin, and it's nice to see him show up here inside of this match finally here. Bladesy had a slow map at 10 and 11, but he really didn't need to do much more when the rest of your teammates are popping off 25 through 3 rounds, or 22, 27, and 18. Everybody's right around 20 throughout 3 rounds here of this control. Really, really good game for the Mavericks, and a very strong bounce back after losing your first map inside of the CCL.
I mean, it's just business for the squad, like we said at the start. And yeah, they're the team coming out with a very strong record over Trojans at the moment. You have a little bit of a hiccup in the search and destroy, but you highlighted it perfectly. This is the team that has gotten them to the point where they're at. 22 and 11 for Wydog, 27 and 11 from Spear Up. You look at the average damage per round, and everybody but Bladesy really putting up the numbers. But Bladesy, you know, he might not have been putting up those big numbers for the team, but when it really mattered, you were seeing him walk out with crucial kills to really slow down the Trojans.
And I mean, they dropped that streak at the very end, and if there was more numbers and more lives left on the Trojans there, it would have been even more useful. But they don't even end up finding anything with the streaks, but it pushes them off the hills, and everybody's able to get into a great spot for the Mavericks to be able to close that round out. What were they in? Like, it was a 11v4 at the end before they were able to close at that final bit. Very good for them. And clearly the Trojans, very strong at Berlin, but as soon as they got off that map, this is where we've seen Mavericks really start to turn up the pace. We go to Tuscan Hardpoint next. I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that first map was close, but we know that was the best hardpoint map for the Trojans, and you're going into a map mode combination that is very strong for the Mavericks now.
I want to take a look at the maps and modes if we can, Jesse, because this series, it has been quite the run for both sides. And yeah, you're highlighting Tuscan coming in for this map for a hardpoint. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, Trojans, they really need to step up to the plate, not just in the slaying factor, but in the rotations as well. Something that really kind of kept them behind inside Berlin was the fact that they were getting out-rotated by the Mavericks, and constantly, even if the Trojans were the first ones there, by the time the hard point popped, the Mavericks, they've already been there, done that, cleared out the hill, and took control by force. They're just bullying right now on hard point, and if the Trojans, you need to find a way to counteract that, whether it's playing slower, whether it is kind of playing more together as a team, or taking the gunfights from power positions. That's going to need to be a different pace for yourself. You're going to need to find that comfort zone to get there, because the Mavericks have every edge over you inside hardpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go back to your first point, Colin, when you were talking about how they need to rotate a little bit better. I think that the Trojans in the start of that Berlin hardpoint, they weren't rotating like as well as they could. And you're absolutely not wrong. That's where you saw the Mavericks get off to that big lead off the start of that game. But the second set of rotations, the Trojans looked much better on their rotations. That's where you start to see them really bring that game back for themselves. If they can do that on Berlin, you know hills 3 and 4 are two of your more successful hills inside of this Call of Duty Vanguard game. If you early rotate towards those hills, they are leading to a lot of success for these teams. So that's what you really need to look for the Trojans. Yes, you can lock down a lot of time on hills 1, 2, and 5. But if you can early rotate, lock down hills 3 and 4, that could be your best chance now for the Trojans to really make their way back into this series.
And when you're looking at the series in general, Jesse, it's not just the Tuscan hardpoint you got to get through. Tuscan search and destroy. You just got to get there to the map 5, because realistically, Trojans, they look great in search and destroy. If you can push this to a map 5, this is very winnable for your squad. It's just getting there. You know, that control, it looks so dominant. I was curious on how Mavericks were going to bounce back after a map 2 loss, after the first map loss. But I want to see how the Trojans bounce back after such a dominant win on that control. They did not look good inside that Gavin 2 control. They're going to need to dig deep to find something to push to that search and destroy.
Especially after getting smoked like that. Like, it's kind of, I hate to say it, but we were kind of expecting the Mavericks to come out and smoke them like that throughout this series. Like, the Mavericks... I
gave us hope.
I don't think you could look at the Mavericks on paper and expect that they weren't going to come out and try to smoke this Trojans roster. So the fact that Trojans have kept it that close to the first two, but then you finally have a map where you have a really bad map for the Trojans. I like your question there. How are they going to bounce back? In a beautiful set nade right off the start from defense here from Mavericks. They'll find 2 kills and completely take all the map control away from the Trojans to start this map.
You see Spear up, ready to spring from you, finds one, a little bit of a dance, gets uncomfortable, and Broggs is actually going to walk away with that, but already the setup for the Mavericks inside the hill. Look at how push the lanes. The stun from Bladesy is going to find Broggs, and now full control. They flip the map. Trojans on the back end get flipped out. A chance to kind of put some pressure on, but I think Mavericks, the jig is up. They know what's happening. Bladesy's going to swing on out, and they deal with it perfectly.
They absolutely do. They deal with it 100% perfectly. Our scoreboard, unfortunately, at the moment flipped around. So this is the Mavericks building up this big lead right off the start. And the Trojans, they are still in the gray on the right side of the map. So they'll be there. They'll be able to get this rotation over to columns first, and they will be the first team here. It's really whether or not the Mavericks can make their flip in through the side.
Well, Trojans here first. Bladesy's going to find the opening through bunks. All 4 players going to be rushing this one now. Everybody on Trojans, they need to look the one way. Bladesy, though, doubles down. Broggs has no idea to react in time. And the ongoing pressure of the Mavericks is enough to break early. Off the respawns, Trojans are going to be here with the better side advantage. And they're going to be able to fight back into this hill with the 3-for-1 trade. Taking down Spear Up is really going to put the dagger into this hold. But last time they got broken so early, you need to see the Trojans start putting some numbers up.
I mean, they're doing a good job of bouncing back, though. You only have Bladesy really that close right now for this Mavericks roster until Y-Dog pops two and is now able to get in. And you can see from the Trojans, their full focus right now is like, hey, guess what? Yeah, we need to just give this time up. Let's rotate over towards this next hill. And this was a hill that we were really highlighting coming into this one. This is one where you absolutely need to win your rotation to if you want to get a lot of time here on this hill. And it's going to be a one-on-one now for initial time.
62 to 27 going into a hill that very well could be a money hill. 3 go down for the Mavericks. Couple for the respawns in the backline from rooftops. You have a pinch coming up from Y-Dog, but look at this heads-up play of the Trojans, Jesse. Everybody wrapping around and looking at the right spots and winning their one-on-ones is going to keep them gaining time. You got Gusher Goblin on 2 in a row. The rest of the team looking to hold strong as well, but Mavericks off the respawn a little bit too strong for the pressure. They come back and they get 4 untraded kills.
Still really big, though, for the Trojans off the start of that hill. The fact that you weren't in control of the spawns and you were able to contest the front 30 seconds of that is absolutely massive, because now the Mavericks, they can only get the back 30 and you can still try to win this rotation. Now you can see they're not going to throw any more lives at this hill. Absolutely no need to. It's really about trying to win the rotation battle over towards this church hill. Unfortunately, Gusher's going to take some shots into his teammate and end up dropping, and this might actually be able to flip these spawns out. Now there's only one player left here for the Trojans in Crisp Quesadilla, and he'll stay alive in the back. That's a massive gunfight win.
It is. Trojans now the better respawns. Shoddy making the wraparound here. Nobody's ready. Nobody's looking, and it's going to be the opening to allow the rest of the Trojans to win the gunfights on the inside. The break back into this hill. They're going to have control. You see Maverick spawning up all the way out towards Fountain. They find a quick 2 kills untraded, so they're going to be able to hit this hill from the front. Broggs just trying to slip the line. He is able to find 1, but that's about it, Jesse.
You basically the front bit of time there for the Trojans, but the rest of it, just the Mavericks, as soon as they get that break, it's just like that last hill, not able to completely shut it down. And it's just been tough. It's been a very, very tough start here for the Trojans, because even when they're setting up early, they are not getting a good amount of time here off these hills.
Look at that set spike from Spear Up and Bladesy, the stun for Spear Up to push that. Another 4 down for the rotation to be locked down. The Trojans, this spree has not been broken just yet until Shoddy finds Y-Dog. You got 5 in a row for Spear Up. Streaks would be big to have into the next rotation, Jesse, and there it is, strafing run. Going to be on board now, playing for that glide bomb that's coming up next for 7 in a row. Nobody going to be pushing this. In fact, Trojans now hitting from the opposite end. Mavericks, they're going to be aware of that. They rotate their eyes around. Spear Up falls, though. It's a big kill to shut down that glide bomb. And Trojans now pushing into this hill.
They do get in for a small bit of time here, but there's only 25 seconds left on this hill. The main focus at this point in time is going to be towards trying to lock down as much time as you can in our second set of rotations. But I guess for the Trojans, you want to try to get as much time as you can out of this with how little bit of time you've been able to get through this first set of rotations. It's basically double the lead right now for the Mavericks through this first set. And it started off with a 45 to 0 point lead on this hill number 1 for the Mavericks, and already looking like they're in control middle of the map again. They want to lock this down. They want to get a good chunk of time here on P1 once again.
Y-Dog watching the cross 3 in a row. Look at Bladesy's positioning as well. It's going to be pushing the Trojans so far back into the deep church spawns. Off the respawns, they're going to resurge with the quick 2. Untraded, but getting into this hill, that's the hard part. T-Bam looking to get out with his life. No Gusher on the chase. The break comes back in for the Mavericks, so holding on to their control, Jesse, and they are holding on sublime right now. Inside this hill, inside this rotation, they're looking to push themselves closer to the 200-point mark, and nobody on the Trojans are looking to be in a situation where they can't break this. They need to get this rotation unlocked.
You can see what the Mavericks are trying to do right now as well. Everybody trying to push forward. Everybody trying to flip these spawns out to spawn the rest of the Trojan players on that left side of the map. And if they win these gunfights, they absolutely should flip these spawns. They should spawn up at old, and they absolutely do. So it's going to be a 4v2 on the site now, make it a 3v1 as a quick trade comes through. And, I mean, if you are Braggs right now, you need to just try to stay alive in the back here and play your life for this moment.
Big kill on Y-Dog. Neutralizes some time for Mavericks. That's about it, though. The rest of the Trojans spawning up on different fronts. So it's going to be 3 separate pinches from the Trojans to make this break happen. Gusher Goblin spearheading this with the opening. Broggs sets down the second. So the break's going to come through for the Trojans. They are going to have control of this, Jesse, and they find the right kills. Shoddy just needs to go big on the front line, and he does.
Big break. Only 30 seconds left on the hill, though. doubt we see Mavericks really put too much pressure on trying to break into this one more time. I think you'll see maybe Bladesy try to hit this for scrap, maybe just try to contest the time a little bit here. He'll get Gusher out of it, so absolutely massive. You basically contest the back 15 now against the Trojans, and the Trojans, you need to start hightailing it across the map here. You really don't have time to give up here to this Maverick roster, and Mavericks are going to be the first team here to the Fountain Hill, and they're going to be set up early with the good spawns. This is going to be a very tough break for the Trojans.
They eclipse the 200-point marker, now in striking distance of the victory. Look at this, though, from the Trojans. Broggs is going to break it, so nobody in the hill at the moment. Finds a second up top, broken. Wydog's going to be aware, though, of the push and snaps over to Gusher. You can't just do that to him. Absolutely disgusting. Now looking for a little bit more. Hops down from top, broken. It's 3 in a row from Wydog. Now on a position where he can cut off these rotations. They have no idea where Wydog is, and he is breaking open this map right now. 2:15 for the Mavericks, and they are going to be pushing so close to a map win. They even flip out the Trojans, Jesse.
Yeah, well, Wydog was doing all that in the front. You actually had Shoddy pushing through the bottom side of the map, trying to flip the spawns for the Trojans, give them the close spawns, and you had T-Bam inside of the hill going massive for this team, shutting things down. They're going to be, what, 5 seconds away from closing this game out at the end of this hill. Sorry, make it 8 seconds at the end. Never mind, they're going to jump out early, so make it 10 seconds that they need to close out. But still, it's extremely close. All they need is one break here, and this game is over.
We say it so often inside of esports from any game, but this has to be perfect from the Trojans if they want to upset the Mavericks and take them to map number 5. Secure up through the side door for the break. He's going to find one, a second one around the outside. Trying to keep their toes in are the rest of these Trojan players, but they're all going to drop now. Mavericks in control, 6 seconds needed. You see the respawns are going to come through, but they are dropping like flies, Jesse. Mavericks are going to get into this hill, and they are going to close this out in 4. 250 to 119. A statement was made inside that Tuscan.
It absolutely was. This was the Mavericks coming out like, hey, you guys might be good at Berlin hardpoint, but let me show you what another hardpoint map looks like here. This is what we do. This is how good this Mavericks esports roster is. I've got them personally inside my top 25. I think this team is extremely talented. I can't wait to see what they can do against top 25 talent in the next split once everybody is going up against the top teams inside of this Midwest, because they have 100% qualified for that top split. And I mean, I honestly cannot wait, Colin. We can take a look back one more time here at the scores and that, and just look at the even scores across the board. This was something that we highlighted coming into this series, was that you really don't have that many big pop-off players on this Mavericks roster. You just have a very even roster. T-Bam, 26 kills. Wydog, 26 kills. FireUp, 28 kills. All almost 10 over positive. All almost dropping 3k damage. Bladesy, again, really didn't need to do too much, but again, he's the objective player. It just does not really matter for this Mavericks roster. A very talented game out of them. And honestly, after those first 2 maps, a very dominant victory in maps 3 and 4.
Look, Jesse, they got their feet kicked up. They got their victory music going on, and they're just sitting there like, this is how we do it. They know what they're doing. They have it on lock, and the Mavericks are looking good in the 2022 year. I think that this is just the best squad that we've seen so far from a division, just looking so dominant inside their own, just making it happen. I say that, but there's a lot of teams that do it, but I mean, a team that was flying under the radar that's looking this good from the Mavericks, they are on a warpath to make their name known, and they are just doing it one team at a time. Yes, you'll lose out on the search and destroy, but a lot of teams, you know, sometimes you just need a little bit of kick in the behind to know that you need to humble up a little bit and get right back into business, and that's what they did in the control. It looked smooth. You move over to Tuscan, it looked dominant, and they just get it done once more. It's business as usual for the Mavericks.
And if you're the Trojans, I think you're really kicking yourself right now for a couple of those losses earlier on in the year. Those losses to Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska are really going to hurt you, because those 3 teams are the other 3 teams really occupying your chance at getting into those top 3s. And it needed to be a win from this point on if they wanted their chance of being able to make top cut. And very likely it's not going to be a top cut for them now. So they'll likely fall into that split where it's going to be teams 4, 5, and 6 going in towards our second split of the season. So they'll be playing all the other 4, 5, 6 teams inside of this Midwest division. So they'll get to play teams a little bit more to their straight up competition. But I honestly, with how good this team plays against top cut competition and how close a lot of those maps are, I really think that this team inside of that middle split could really be a top team there.
Well, Jesse, what an exciting showing from the Mavericks to open up this Bravo stream for the night, folks. That's not going to be all. It's only match number 1 for the Bravo stream. Coming up next is going to be CSUSB versus UCR Esports. Spider Tiff and Korn on the mics. We're going to be doing a little bit of caster musical chairs, but we got more action here for the CCL for you to enjoy. You don't want to miss out. A quick break, and we'll be right back into things. Stay tuned for some more.